guys, it's SBYT and it's the start of a brand new week. So where else to start other than talking about the ONEPLUS 5T successor, the ONEPLUS 6. Due out probably early June. There will be an announcement around the start of May. Now, many of you guys will know about the ONEPLUS 5T. You may have it yourself. You may be looking, do I need to upgrade to the ONEPLUS 6? I'm going to do a quick comparison on the ONEPLUS 6 and its predecessor, the ONEPLUS 5T. So let's get straight to it. Right, so welcome back to a brand new video. Like I said, we're talking the ONEPLUS 5T versus the new ONEPLUS 6 so that you can see, is it something that you want to put in that little online basket, or you might be going to a store. You might be old school.
They say it can puncture the skin of a rhino from 100...
Ow! And of course, during this video, I want you to go into the comment section below and I want you to comment what you like about the ONEPLUS 6 design, what you don't like about the ONEPLUS 6 design, and again, what you like about the actual specs and what you don't like about the specs. I want to know from you guys where your heart is in all of this. It's a bit keen, isn't it? When I do get my hands on the ONEPLUS 6, I will be doing a full review of the ONEPLUS 5 versus the 6. So if you are interested in that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you will get that video as soon as it drops. But right now, do you want the ONEPLUS 6? Hopefully this video will shed some light. So on my right, your left will have the ONEPLUS 5T, and on my left, your right, we'll have the ONEPLUS 6. We'll first talk design and then we'll get onto specs. Of course, you will know that they stretched the screen to the 18:9 ratio, small bezel at the top, small bezel at the bottom. The ONEPLUS 6 is going to stretch that screen even more, but of course, we now... I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Because I don't mind it that much, to be fair. Let me know if you do. The notch. Moving swiftly on from that, we do have a bezel at the bottom, and it's going to be pretty similar to the one on the 5T, if slightly smaller, but it's going to be there, and that's just simply a hardware issue because the display unit actually has a ribbon which connects to the motherboard. Then we flip round to the back, and of course on the ONEPLUS 5T, we have the camera on the top left-hand side on the back, fingerprint sensor right here in the middle, and it's a kind of matte black finish. Of course, you have the white sandstone and the lava red as well variants. Then we jump across to the ONEPLUS 6, and we of course still have the fingerprint sensor in the middle, but it's a different shape. It's not as completely round as the ONEPLUS 5T, and of course the camera nodule has been now moved to the middle above that fingerprint sensor. Now in terms of that back design, there have been conflicting opinions about what the actual build quality is going to be. There's been some leaked images of glass backs. There's also been this sort of brushed wood effect, potentially aluminium design, and one of the latest leaks on Twitter from ONEPLUS, it almost looks like it might potentially be ceramic as well. We know how it's going to look, it's just that material. We do know they are going to include wireless charging with it, so that would suggest either ceramic or glass. Headphone jack on both, Type-C charging on both will have dash charge. Right, so we've talked a little bit about the design. We're now going to jump onto those all-important specs. We have a 6-inch screen on the ONEPLUS 5T, whereas on the ONEPLUS 6, we're going to see a 6.28-inch display. And that's just simply due to that notch at the top. It allows for more screen real estate on either side. There will, of course, be a software feature on the ONEPLUS 6 where you can blacken out that sort of status bar, so it looks more like the ONEPLUS 5T. But we're led to believe that isn't going to be available for launch. And I went into that in more detail in the video here if you are interested. 2160 by 1080, 18:9 ratio with a PPI density of 401, 2280 by 1080 with a PPI density of 402. So we are led to believe we're still not going to see a Quad HD display on the ONEPLUS 6, which is something I know a few of you were interested in and wanted, and when you see other phones out there that have it, it is something that you want, of course. The ONEPLUS 5T has been updated. It obviously started with Android 7. It has been updated to Android Oreo. We will see Android 8.1 Oreo as well on the ONEPLUS 6, so you are going to get the same sort of software features from both, but this is where the two phones are going to separate quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit, because the Snapdragon 835 processor is still an amazing processor from Qualcomm, but the 845 on paper is meant to give you 25% better performance, better battery optimization as well. In terms of real-time use, I will get to that review as well when the ONEPLUS 6 is out, and I will compare them like I said. And then, of course, in terms of the GPU, we have the Adreno 540 on the OnePlus 5T, whereas we have the 630 on the OnePlus 6. Now, there's conflicting details about the actual storage capabilities of the OnePlus 6. So we know from the OnePlus 5 we had a 6GB of RAM and 64GB of storage version, and also the 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage version. Whereas on the OnePlus 6, some people are saying you're going to get that same variant, but a lot of other leaks are saying we're going to get a 6GB of RAM version with 128GB of storage and 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. So that would be a nice jump up from the 5T. Let's hope that comes true. Let's hope that comes true is not a phrase. Grammar. Poor. So now on to a very important one for a lot of you guys, and that's of course camera. On the OnePlus 5T, we of course had the 16 megapixel and a 20 megapixel, both with f1.7 aperture. And according to a lot of rumors, we are led to believe we're seeing a similar setup with the OnePlus 6. I wouldn't be surprised if that leak about that camera setup is slightly false. I would think we are going to see a jump up in performance on that camera, so stay tuned for that one. Now on to another really important one for a lot of you guys, the battery. We've got a 3,300 milliamp battery on the 5T, whereas of course on the OnePlus 6, we are going to get a 3,450 milliamps. So there is going to be a bump up in that battery size, but also due to the Snapdragon 845 processor, you will probably get a pretty good bump up in that battery optimization as well. I wouldn't be surprised if there is quite a big difference in that battery life of the 6 over the 5T. Now finally, in terms of price, when the OnePlus 5T was launched, it was roughly around the €500 mark, 450 UK sterling, and roughly around the sort of $550 US kind of mark. Now there have been real conflicting stories about the price of the OnePlus 6 when it arrives. Some people are quoting it could be as much as $750 US. I can't personally see it. I would imagine there may be a little bump up, maybe $50 US, for example, because that tends to be the current trend with the OnePlus range. But a lot of people are also saying they want to keep it around that sort of 500 mark. So that is pretty much it for today. Let me know in the comment section below, like I said, what you think about the design and the specs so far. Is it going to be enough for you to make that jump, or is something about the OnePlus 6 that you've seen so far something that you're just going to steer clear from and maybe go for the OnePlus 6T or another phone completely? Like and share if you did enjoy this video and found it helpful. Subscribe and hit that little notification bell. I love you and leave you. I'll see you in the next one. Says BYT. Peace out.